Earlier this morning, the White House released President Obama's long-form birth certificate, the original birth certificate from the day he was born, August 4th, 1961, in Hawaii. Of course, many questions have been raised about whether what the president had released, the certificate of live birth, was indeed authentic. The White House maintained that it was, but in order to quiet his critics, the president came out today and released the official long-form birth certificate. He said that he wanted America to stop being distracted, and he went to the White House briefing room just moments ago to address the issue.
Now, I know that there's going to be a segment of people for which, no matter what we put out, this issue will not be put to rest. But I'm speaking to the vast majority of the American people, as well as to the press. We do not have time for this kind of silliness. We got better stuff to do. I've got better stuff to do. We got big problems to solve, and I'm confident we can solve them, but we're going to have to focus on them, not on this. Thanks very much, everybody.
The president walked out of the briefing without taking any questions, but I do want to bring in Jake Tapper, our White House correspondent. The president also said we don't have any time for sideshows or carnival barkers. Seemed to have a little edge of irritation in his voice that he had to do this. And Jake, the White House had maintained for so long that it wasn't necessary, that the certificate of live birth that was released is what everyone who's born in the state of Hawaii gets when they ask for a birth certificate.
That's right, and this actual long-form birth certificate that we were provided of a copy with, President Obama's attorneys had especially requested from the state of Hawaii. One of the president's attorneys flew to Hawaii, got back last night, and that's why they say today we got a copy of this. President Obama is said to have been very upset 2 weeks ago when there was a serious debate about the budget to be had between Republicans and him, and the top issue that week in the media, he said, was the birth certificate issue, which of course is a nonsensical issue. President Obama having been born in the United States in 1961, but nonetheless, conspiracy theorists and Republicans looking to get some press momentum have been talking about this issue. He wanted to put it aside.
Yeah, Jake, I mean, the White House clearly also believed, and I got the sense from the president when I talked to him about this last week, that in a way this issue was actually helping the president because it helped marginalize those who kept on raising questions, yet he still wanted to put it to rest today.
That's exactly right. They say that perhaps politically the stronger move for him would have been to let Republicans keep debating it because it made them seem extreme. It made them seem like they don't have the serious issues on their mind, and it would have helped President Obama hurt Republicans, forced Republican candidates to talk about this issue even if they didn't want to. But they said President Obama was sick of it being a distraction and wanted to talk about the serious issues. Okay,
Jake, thanks very much. Of course, the person raising the most questions about this was a man who says he's looking at running for president, Donald Trump, the New York billionaire real estate magnate. In fact, he was touching down in New Hampshire today, the early primary state of New Hampshire, as the White House was releasing this document. And when he landed, he seemed to take credit for it.
Today, I'm very proud of myself because I've accomplished something that nobody else has been able to accomplish. I was just informed while on the helicopter that our president has finally released a birth certificate. I'd want to look at it, but I hope it's true so that we can get on to much more important matters so the press can stop asking me questions. He should have done it a long time ago.
So the president and Donald Trump agree that they want the press to stop asking questions about this. John Berman is traveling with Donald Trump, and this sure seemed to be like a victory lap for Mr. Trump.
No, absolutely. He was declaring victory for proving something that had been proven to most people a long, long time ago. You heard Donald Trump say it here. He did something no one else was able to do, but he did it over the last few weeks with something approaching innuendo. Just the other night, he said, I hear the birth certificate is missing. He told you, George, you wouldn't believe what my investigators are finding on the ground in Hawaii. It does beg the question, what did he hear and what were his investigators finding now that this birth certificate turns out to be just exactly what the White House has been saying all along that it was? One other point here, Mr. Trump seems to be moving from what we call birtherism on to greaterism. He may be willing to accept the president's birth certificate. Now he wants to know about his grades from college, how he got into Columbia, then Harvard Law School. So we may be hearing more of this type of thing from Donald Trump, George.
It is not over yet. Okay, John Berman, thanks very much.